She's just a girl, but she's on fire. Hotter than a fantasy, lonely like a highway. She's living in the world and it's on fire. Filled with catastrophe, but she knows she can fly away. Oh, she's got both feet on the ground and she's burning it down. Oh, she's got her head in the clouds and she's not backing down. This girl is on fire. This girl is on fire. She's walking on fire. This girl is on fire. Looks like a girl, but she's a flame. So bright she can burn your eyes. Better look the other way. You can try, but you never forget her name. She's on top of the world, hottest of the hottest girls. Say, oh, we got our feet on the ground and we're burning it down. Oh, got our head in the clouds and we're not backing down. This girl is on fire. This girl is on fire. She's walking on fire. This girl is on fire. Everybody stares as she goes by, cause they see the flame that's in her eyes. Watching her as she lights up the night. Nobody knows that she's a lonely girl, and it's a lonely world. But she gon' burn, baby, burn, baby. This girl is on fire. This girl is on fire. She's walking on fire. This girl is on fire. Oh, 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 she's just a girl, but she's on fire.
Welcome to the Redstravaganza at the Emerald Lounge, sponsored by the Selma, Alabama chapter of the Links Incorporated, where every heartbeat is life. We're on fire for heart health. Allow me to introduce the president of the Selma, Alabama chapter of the Links Incorporated, Dr. Evelyn Evans.
Good evening, friends and friends of friends. It is certainly our pleasure to have you join the Selma, Alabama chapter of the Links Incorporated in the Emerald Lounge for our Red Extravaganza, where it is a pleasure to connect with you because every heartbeat. Smith. My name is Dr. Evelyn Evans, and I am the president of the Selma, Alabama chapter of the Links Incorporated. Our chapter has been working diligently to create an evening of education and entertainment for the communities we serve as we all get information regarding heart health. I would like to extend a heartfelt thanks to our Health and Human Services Chair, Ms. Keisha Dozier-Smith, CEO of Rural Health, Mrs. Phoenicia Nunn, our HeartLinks Captain, Dr. Patricia Robinson, owner of Pediatric and Adolescent Medicine of Selma, Alabama, and all members of the Health and Human Services and Technology Committees of the Selma, Alabama chapter of the Links Incorporated. This evening would not be possible without your love and service toward our chapter and our communities. The Bible tells us in Proverbs 4:23 to guard our hearts with all diligence, for from it flow springs of life. It is my belief that this guidance is not only for our spiritual health, but for our physical health too. This evening, you can expect to be entertained and educated as we connect with you, heart to heart and soul to soul. Thank you for linking your hearts to ours for this Selma, Alabama HeartLinks Red Extravaganza. And now, our HeartLinks captain, Mrs. Phoenicia Nunn.
Hi, everyone. I'm going to tell you just a little bit about the Selma chapter of Links Incorporated HeartLinks program. Here, in our Selma chapter of the Links Incorporated HeartLinks program, we are committed to transforming our community through sustainable programs like HeartLinks. The HeartLinks program is designed to empower individuals to engage in activities that will increase their knowledge of cardiovascular disease, risk factors of those diseases, and to encourage them to participate in healthy behaviors. Critical to this mission is to help the community develop healthier eating habits and physical habits to know your numbers that increase your risk for heart disease, such as your cholesterol, your blood pressure, your glucose, and high waist circumference. Some of the things that we have been doing over the years are we have 34 certified in CPR. We have 200 people screened for diabetes and hypertension and high cholesterol. We have 50 people given 6-week gym memberships too. We take pride in this program. We love it. We really want to make sure we make a difference with our community. So we want to make sure that you look and think about those risk factors. Those are so very, very important. With all of those things that we're doing, including our walking and walkathon, we want to make sure that we, in our HeartLinks program, let you know that every heartbeat is life. And with that being said, I want to go ahead and introduce our Health and Human Services Chair, Keisha Dozier-Smith. Keisha Dozier-Smith, she's a member of the Selma, Alabama chapter of the Links Incorporated since 2019. Ms. Smith is a graduate of Spelman College, where she was a community servant leader. Ms. Smith is currently the Chief Executive Officer of Rural Health Medical Program. She is which is a federally qualified community health center in Rural Health Black Belt region of Alabama. The Rural Health Dozier and her team, she has about 70 plus members, provide primary and preventative medical care regardless of insurance status. In addition to offering all of these services, they also offer transportation to and from appointments, assisted with housing as well. It also offers dentistry and podiatry, as well as telehealth services for those mental and behavioral health. Ms. Smith is a community development leader at heart, with a passion, interest in social economic strategies, planning, and executing for individuals in transition. Ms. Smith has extensive experience in organizations, startups, stakeholder management, communication development, digital branding, and social media presence, people development, and process improvements. Prior to joining Rural Health, Ms. Smith established the Black Belt Community Development Coalition, a self-help program to the homeless and families to empower themselves to re-enter into the community sober, employed, financially stable, in a stable home, and closer to completing their academic goals. Ms. Smith has a Bachelor's of Arts degree in economics with a minor in management from Stillman College, and she is a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated and the Links Incorporated. Ms. Smith is a board member of the Alabama Primary Association Congressional District COVID-19 Advisory Board and the Selma Dallas YMCA Board. I bring to you none other than our Health and Human Services Chair, Keisha Dozier Smith.
Thank you so much, Phoenicia. Welcome to the Emerald Lounge, where every heartbeat matters. I would just like to thank each of you for joining us tonight, virtually and in person, from the comfort of your homes. Tonight, we want you to sit back and enjoy yourselves, take some notes, share the link on Facebook and YouTube to invite more people to come and learn more about heart health, managing stress, weight management, and tools that you can do to improve your overall health. If you have any questions tonight, make sure you put those in the chat box. We will have someone managing those questions, and we'll be sure to get you the resources to answer your questions. First, I would like to introduce our first guest. She actually works with me at the Rural Health Medical Program, and now we're going to call her native of Selma. She's been here for a while. Her name is Dr. Suni Osiku. She's a primary care provider at the Rural Health Medical Program. Help me welcome, I call her Dr. O, to the Emerald Lounge. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. If you would, just give us a brief introduction of who you are, what you do, and why Selma.
Well, I'm Dr. O, as everybody call me, but that's the short version of my weird name. It's actually Olusobisola Oyeshiku, but like I said, everybody calls me Dr. O, and that's perfectly fine. I am a primary care doctor. I'm a family medicine physician who also specializes in women's health, and I work at the Rural Health Medical Program here in Selma. And I've been in Selma now for about 4 years now. I had my residency training here in Selma as well. And you think Selma is rural, but we're way cooler than that. So I'm officially Selmanian, and I've learned to use the y'all draw to make it cool.
That's Southern charm.
And I'm really glad to be here and just sharing this moment with the red ladies and the HeartLinks. And I'm just really glad to be part of the Redstravaganza.
So, Dr. O, we're going to kick off the conversation tonight with just information overall about heart disease, which is the #1 killer of men and women, especially in rural communities such as Selma and across the Black Belt region of Alabama. As you know, as a primary care physician, we have very limited resources in this area. And you and I work, and several other individuals that's a part of this event, with educating patients, providing medical resources, etc., on improving that. Currently, about 659 people across the United States die from heart disease. Tell us about what are you doing in rural Alabama to improve those statistics?
Now, let me first start by explaining what heart disease is. Heart disease refers to a range of conditions that affect the heart. And if you kind of look at the heart, you first have the blood vessels. The blood vessels supply
they carry blood to the heart. You know, the heart is actually the organ that pumps blood around the body, right? But it also needs to feed itself some blood as well. So whenever the blood flow, when there's a disease affecting the blood flow to the heart, that's what we call coronary artery disease. And there could also be heart disease, could also be form of irregular heartbeat, which we call arrhythmias, you know, beating too fast, beating too slow, just acting up. That is arrhythmias. We could also have a condition affecting the valves in the heart. They direct blood flow in the heart. That is valvular heart disease. We could have a problem with the heart muscle where it's too big, too thin, too thick. That's and we could also have problems with you know, like congenital heart disease. People born with some kind of, you know, heart problems, hole in the heart, or we could have like infections and things like that. So heart disease refers to a spectrum of diseases or conditions that affect the heart. But the most common one is the coronary artery disease, which affects the blood flow or blood supply to the heart. Now, when that is decreased is when you have a heart attack.
Mhm.
And similarly, you know, the whole spectrum of heart disease sometimes extends to the blood supply to the brain itself, which we call a stroke. So when there's a decrease in blood supply to the brain or to the heart is when we have that either a heart attack or a stroke. And looking at the numbers in the US, heart disease is the leading cause of death.
Right.
And it's been at the top of the list now for many years. And half of the heart disease is caused by this coronary heart disease that causes a heart attack. And so there's a statistic that look at the fact that 1 in 5 persons die from a heart attack. In fact, there's one that says somebody's dying from a heart attack every minute. And so I feel like the fact that this numbers just last year in 2020, we had over 690 deaths from a heart attack, half of which was, I mean, from heart disease in general, half of it was from a heart attack. And even down the list, a stroke, which is also a form of cardiovascular disease, is number 5. And then other things like diabetes is number 7 or 8, depending on which year you look at it. So all these numbers actually point to the fact that we really need to prioritize our heart health,
Right.
in keeping us healthy. So these numbers are, you know, they're alarming because they remain the same year in, year out, and it just seems to be getting worse.
Right. So just to kind of will it in and make it more personable to Dallas County, because that's where we are tonight. During your time, during your residency program, what are some of the things that you learned to help prevent those measures, how to address the issues that you see here each and every day? Because you and I know that even during your rotation, sometimes we have to call on cardiologists that are outside of Selma. And if there's a patient that has an emergency, we have to wait 30 minutes to an hour for someone to come on site for surgeries or things of that nature. So speak to me a little bit about what made you stay in this environment, and 2, what did you learn, and what do you want to give to the community to help improve this?
As you know, I'm originally from Nigeria, and when I moved to Selma, there was actually a striking similarity between Selma and where I came from, in terms of the rural nature of it, the limited resources, but a group of people that, despite the inadequacies, are still trying to make it. They're still living their best life, working hard, trying to live right too. But a lot of things are kind of peculiar to this area. You know, the increase in obesity, the increase in chronic conditions, hypertension, high blood pressure, high blood sugar, and just even the healthy lifestyle overall.
Right.
Just looking at that kind of also made me look at that. I guess because of also the standard of living. We're in this environment where we rely a lot on fast food. Everybody's living and eating on the go. Nobody got time to pause. It's cheaper, it's faster, it's
convenient,
more convenient,
Right.
it's more satisfying-ish, and we're gonna count calories. Let's just you know, the first thing I learned about Alabama, which is probably to all the southern part, ain't nothing y'all can't fry. Ain't no food that can escape the Alabamian oil. Oh, just pretty much any oil. I mean, any southern food. No vegetable, you fry onions, broccoli, cauliflower, tomatoes, asparagus. You even fry screens. Ain't nothing y'all can front. But then I ain't gonna lie, it is good. But a moment on the lips, a locking on the hips, and then back in our arteries as well.
Right.
So we I think that lifestyle, that culture is not actually the healthiest, which is the truth. And everybody, Selma, we're a little on the plus side. We like ourselves thick,
Right.
but it's coming at the expense of our health.
That's
Because
right.
a lot of people are suffering from heart disease. And I think I can use this moment to talk about the risk factors that kind of predispose to this heart disease. And there you can look at it from two sides. There's the ones you can't change, which we call the modifiable the modifiable, and the one you cannot change, which is the non-modifiable factors. So which are the ones you can't change? You got an odor. It comes with age.
Right.
The male gender, postmenopausal women, just because you lose that protective effect of the hormones. African Americans,
Right.
when places like Selma is predominantly African American, so that automatically puts us at a high risk. Not only African Americans, Native Americans, Asian Americans, Mexican Americans, So, and then some habits in particular predispose us to them, and those are the modifiable ones, which are the ones that you can change. Habits like smoking.
Right.
Smoking all by itself kind of increases the risk of heart disease. And then you have chronic medical conditions that you can change. Even if you can't change it, you can control it, like blood pressure, high blood pressure, which we call hypertension, high blood sugar, which we call diabetes, high blood cholesterol. I always say we have the good, the bad, and the ugly kind of cholesterol. And in our Alabamian oil, it ain't exactly a good kind, but it is good, like I said, it is good.
Right.
But it ain't too good for your heart. And smoking, which is a habit that is predominant around here, and people often, pick up smoking as a habit, as a coping mechanism, stress, anxiety.
Yeah.
And some people is just, I got nothing else to do but to smoke. And looking at obesity, just because, like I said, 70% of everybody in Selma has crossed that BMI into the obese range. And it's been accepted as the new normal. So it's like, even when you bring it up in clinic, like, you need to lose some weight. I'm like, no, I move around, I'm good. I'm like, okay. Circle back to that.
Right. Noted in the chart.
Noted in the chart. So yes, focusing on some of these risk factors, which because we are in Selma in particular, puts it as a high risk.
Right.
More African Americans, more obese people,
The
unhealthy
environmental
diets.
issues,
On not a lot of physical activity going on. Now it's probably just 10% of the population. You see them jogging around early in the morning. Most of us will stay sleeping an extra hour in bed. And things like that. So we find ourselves at that place where we're already at an increased risk, and I say we in Selma are at an increased risk of heart disease in general.
So let's kind of switch gears. So you talked about the controllables and the uncontrollables. So family history, how much does that play into it? So if my grandparents had hypertension and diabetes, then my mom and dad received it. So I should be looking forward to receive it. Or are there things that I can do to prevent that from happening? Or is it just genetic?
It's a little bit of both, of everything. You know how we would hope that our parents would leave us with a mansion, a nice fancy car, inheritance of $50 billion. But nah, if they've got hypertension or diabetes or any of those risk factors, particularly heart disease of any form, high blood sugar, diabetes, or hypertension, that automatically puts us at that risk factor. At that risk of developing it. It's genetic. There's a component of the genes that gets passed down to us.
And like learned behaviors, like
Exactly.
Food habits, lifestyle. Okay.
The culture of eating. This is the kind of food Mama taught us growing up. Mama always made this. We always ate fried chicken every day. We always had fried this every day. So that culture, and you're right. The culture of like you're going to the grocery to shop. Not a lot of people shop in the fresh food aisle. It's always
I do.
And
And I've noticed the inflation of, eating healthy, where you spent $200, now you spend about $4
exactly.
for healthier. But you know what? It's more convenient to get, processed foods. But I will say, and I'm not just bragging on you, our providers at Rural Health, and I'm assuming other primary healthcare providers, we spend a lot of time educating patients, providing them healthier lifestyle choices. We actually received a 5-year grant with the Black Women Imperative Initiative out of DC to actually have those lifestyle groups of individuals across the Black Belt. So all 6 counties. And we were very successful until COVID. And I think switching gears to, okay, now we're going to not mingle and motivate each other in person. We have to do it behind the lens of a computer. So that kind of trickled down, and we did see health factors and risks go up from that. But I will say that the things that you're sharing tonight, the things that you share in clinic, speaks volumes to what you're doing to make your impact in the community.
Right.
One last thing. If there's something about heart health that you definitely want this audience to know, sum that up for me. What's some advice? What are some best habits, best practices you would like to share with the crowd tonight?
So with heart disease, it's important to know that you can control it. You can manage it despite your risk factors of either family history or your race or your size. Knowing that it's something that you can control to a certain degree.
Mhm.
And there is also available treatment for most of this heart disease. So understanding that you're at risk is the first step in the right direction.
Okay.
And then seeking treatment, if you have any of these conditions, is the next step in the right direction. And, I always encourage family members to have this conversation amongst themselves. If your mother or your father or your sister, if they have heart disease, particularly, let's start from the elders, have this conversation with the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Have it with your children and grandchildren. When you're talking about school, when you're talking about work, you also need to talk about health. And even if they're still young, from when they're teenagers, start having a conversation about how are you doing? Are you getting exercise? What are you eating? I have heart disease. I have this. You should be careful too. So I think having this conversation as a family also helps promote awareness for heart health.
Which is a great way to segue into one of the questions that we had in the chat. So someone asked, my friend smokes and recently found out that they have heart disease. How do I navigate that conversation? How do I help them get the education and treatment that they may need?
The thing about smoking is that everyone who smokes kind of knows that this is a bad habit. But it's not a habit that you can just kick to the curb, just like wake up one morning and do cold turkey. We do have some people that can do that, but not a lot of success. The relapse rate is also high. You start by you have to first come to terms with the fact that this is a habit that I need to stop. Right? Getting people to realize that it is a habit that you need to stop and you can stop is the first thing.
Okay.
And the second is, how do you stop? Right now, we have a lot of resources to help you stop smoking. Starting from the 1-800-QUIT now. I know a lot of people have heard that number. They don't like calling it, but it works. Call them, you will find some resources. We have some medications that we can prescribe to kind of reduce the urge to smoke. And then I recommend using nicotine patches, nicotine gum, because sometimes we find that this is more of a habit that you do out of stress, out of boredom, out of anxiety. And so transferring that, addiction into something else, rather than reaching for the cigarette, you reach for something else or you try other mechanism. But start with first deciding or knowing that this is a habit that I need to stop and I can stop, because it increases my risk for a heart disease. And then have this discussion with your doctor or any health provider.
Right.
When you have that discussion with a health provider, they meet you halfway. Once they see the will to quit is there, they will provide resources that can help you down the road. So discuss with your doctor and, reach out to other resources, and most importantly, avoiding triggers. If you're trying to quit smoking and you hang around your cousin that is smoking, ain't gonna work. Ain't gonna work.
Right,
You have
limit
to
your time.
exactly. So you might have to start making some new friends that are not smoking, or let them know that you're trying to quit smoking, so they can't smoke around you anymore. So that's what I kind of recommend in the road to quitting smoking.
Well, thank you. That was definitely a wealth of knowledge. And we'll make sure we put that 1-800
Quit
Quit Now information in the chat. And I would just like to personally thank you from the Selma Links Incorporated for joining us tonight for our Red Extravaganza. We will share your professional information as well. So if they're looking for a primary care physician or want to refer a family member or friend, we'll share that information as well.
Thank you for
so
having
much.
me.
We
Thank
truly
you so much.
appreciate
I'm
it.
really glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Next, we'll have a brief message from the President's Corner, provided by Ludell Bryant.
My name is Dale Bryant, organizer and first president of the Selma, Alabama chapter of Links Incorporated. Sweating, pressure, nausea, jaw pain. Believe it or not, these are all symptoms of a heart attack in women. When a heart attack strikes, it doesn't always feel the same as it does in men. Women don't always get the same classic heart attack symptoms as men, such as crushing chest pain that radiates down one's arm. Those heart attack symptoms can certainly happen to women, but many experience symptoms that women often brush off as the flu, stress, or simply feeling under the weather, which could put their lives in jeopardy. Let the symptoms of a heart attack, learn the symptoms of a heart attack, and don't be afraid to visit a doctor or call 911 if you experience symptoms. Love your heart because every heartbeat is life. To learn more about symptoms of heart attacks, visit www.hearttruth.gov or www.goredforwomen.org.
Emerald Lounge, where every heartbeat matters. Next, we're going to invite our guest, Ms. Defilia Thrash. Ms. Thrash was educated in Selma, Alabama. She is the oldest of 3 siblings. She's the mother of 2 beautiful daughters and the grandmother of 1 lively granddaughter. Ms. Thrash matriculated through Selma City Schools and graduated from Selma High in 1987. Her post-secondary education includes earning a bachelor degree in criminal justice at Troy State University in 1991. She also has a master's degree in collaborative teaching from Alabama State and a second master's, very impressive, in instructional leadership from the University of West Alabama, and an education specialist degree in collaborative teaching, again from the University of West Alabama. In her professional career, she has served as a loss prevention manager at Kmart and as a social worker for the Department of Human Resources. During the transition of her career, she's worked in Dallas County school systems, and over the 24 years of her work experience, she has served as a special education teacher and currently director of elementary education and literacy for Selma City Schools. Join me and welcome Ms. Thrash to the Emerald Lounge. Well, welcome, beautiful and red.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us tonight. I know that I didn't do the full introduction of who you are. Is there anything that you would like the audience to know special about you?
Well, I am definitely reserved, so sitting on this couch is definitely a stretch, okay? But I am a woman of God, definitely. A woman of Delta Sigma Theta.
Okay.
Sorority Incorporated. Definitely want to throw that in. But I am, other than that, I am just pleased to be here and honored to be here to share my story.
Well, thank you so much. I also know that you are a African American woman that also suffered from a heart attack, and I can see you getting emotional. And we don't have any tissues up here, but
It's
okay, you have one, but we will get more if needed.
Uh-huh.
Kind of share with us how was that experience? How did it impact your life, and what did it change in your life from that moment?
Unfortunately, my journey with heart disease started. Well, it probably started years ago.
Okay.
But I became aware of it 3 years ago. And just sitting at home, just relaxing, getting ready to settle in for a week of vacation for Thanksgiving.
Wow.
And sitting in my chair, and I noticed that I started to feel some pains in my chest. And at that time, I really thought it was indigestion. So I kind of picked myself up. And do what they said do. Drink. I had to drink a Coke, and I tried to drink it really fast, but the pains kept coming. So I thought about it. I said, well, let me go and kind of do some research. And I started looking at the symptoms, and it talked about pains in the chest, and I was having that. Pains across the shoulder blade, I was having that, and it said that I would start to have pains down the arm, which I did. But the only thing that I didn't have, it talked about sweating profusely.
Okay.
So I said, okay, well, maybe it's not a heart attack.
Yeah.
But probably within the instant of me thinking that, I had a rush of heat.
Wow.
So I said, well, let me go and get myself dressed. And I did, and I actually drove myself to the hospital.
Wow.
So, but within minutes, probably within 20, 25 minutes of me being there and having the EKG, they came in and said, well, Mr. Ash, you're having a heart attack. And my cousin was there with me, and we kind of looked at each other.
Like,
and
what?
I know, and I said, oh Lord. And she's a lot more emotional than I am. And she was like, wait a minute. So, but I had to be rushed to Jackson Hospital. Because what Dr. O talked about resonated with me, because at the time there wasn't a cardiologist here that could care for me, so I did have to be rushed to Jackson, and right now I suffer. What they found out, I had to have some stents put in, and what they found out is I had about 99% blockage in one artery, 98 in another, and one was completely destroyed beyond repair. So I have stents in now. So I am so thankful. So if I do get emotional, please forgive me.
Absolutely.
So I am thankful to be even to see here.
That's a lot. I'm sure that 54-minute drive to Montgomery was very intense. And one thing I would just say is you're very brave. You researched. You prepared yourself, and you took yourself where you could get treatment. Because sometimes, I will say, as a race, as a population, and as a gender, as a woman, we feel like there's a remedy that we can whip up, and we don't need anyone's help. And shame on us, because we have to learn how to listen to our bodies.
Absolutely.
As a mom of 4, and the extensive work that I do, sometimes ignoring my body is how I push through. But it's very important that you decided to listen to your body. And I know God was all in that. Because you got yourself to where you needed to go. So let's talk about how was rehab? After surgery, after realizing, the damage that has been done, mentally and physically, because I know you had questions. I know you had to motivate yourself to say, I'm still living.
Yes.
Where next?
Yes. The rehab was basically exercising more. Definitely had to do a total overhaul of what I ate.
Okay.
So you were right on point. Now, I'm not going to say that I don't ever eat fried foods, but it's far and few in between.
Right.
I am the olive oil queen now. So I had to change and look at the sodium level. Very rarely will I eat anything out of a can now,
Right.
unless I can tell and say that there has no salt been added to it. Fresh fruit and vegetables, a lot more. I've been advised not to lift weights, but I try and exercise. Definitely not as much as I should, because I think I weigh more now than I weighed then.
Well,
But the activity level is not, and I do admit that I should be working, walking and working out a lot more than I do. So if I had to offer any advice, it would be that, to just get up and get moving, because you got to get moving and then reduce the stress level.
yeah,
But other than that, it was just changing my mindset, changing my eating habits, and trying to reduce the stress level.
okay.
Definitely.
All great lifestyle choice changes. And one thing I want to say is don't beat yourself up about being inside of a physical gym. Walking works wonders. I personally can speak for that. In the past 8 months, I think I lost 37 pounds walking, just increasing half a mile. And I can't, if I don't get that walk in, my day is off track. So even now, I would encourage you to take that walk, be at peace, and encourage others that may be suffering from some of those symptoms that may cause a stroke or a heart attack to do so. Going back, and I think you've already kind of given us some advice about that, but do you have any children?
I do.
You do. So you've already had that conversation with your children about this. This is something that may be genetic.
Yes.
How was preparing them for that?
Well, just talking to them more about watching what they eat. Now, I have one that's like me that likes to eat, and then and then the other is definitely more health conscious. But they went through it with me, and they understand the process, and they understand that it's important now to be conscious of what goes in your body,
Right.
and then the physical activity, and just kind of not stressing. I was one that kind of internalized things and then always show the stress, and I would just keep pushing and pushing. But now I definitely prioritize. My job is still stressful, but I prioritize it, in all that I can't do within a certain time frame, I wait until tomorrow.
So that's excellent advice. And I just want to say, we're happy to celebrate you and your
Thank
story.
you.
We're so happy that you're here to tell it, and just be an advocate for women that may think that they've had a slight heart attack, but most importantly, to encourage them to change their lifestyle to prevent it.
Yes,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
for having me. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Next, we'll be having a musical selection by Miss Stephanie Brown.
First I was afraid, I was petrified, kept thinking I could never live without you by my side. But then I spent so many nights thinking how you did me wrong, but I grew strong. I learned how to get along, and so you're back from outer space. I just walked right in to find you with that sad look on your face. I should have changed that stupid lock. I should have made you lose your key. If I had have known you'd be back to bother me, go now, go. Walk out the door. Just turn around now. You're not welcome anymore. Weren't you the one who tried to hurt me with goodbye? Did you think I'd crumble? You think I'd lay there and die? Oh no, not I. I will survive. Oh, as long as I know how to love, I know I'm still alive. I've got all my life to live. I've got all my love to give. I will survive. I will survive. Hey. Ooh. It took all the strength I had not to fall apart, just trying hard. broken pieces of my heart. And I spent so many nights just feeling sorry for myself. I used to cry, but now I hold my head up high when you see me. Somebody new. I'm not that chained up little person still in love with you. And you just felt like dropping in and you expect me to be free. Well, now I'm saving all my love for someone who's loving me. Go on now, go. Walk out the door. Just turn around now. You're not welcome anymore. Weren't you the one to hurt me with the word goodbye? You thought I'd crumble, you thought I'd lay there and die. Oh no, not I will survive. As long as I know how to love, I know I'm still alive. I've got all my life to live. I've got so much love to give. I will survive. I will survive. Go on now, go. Walk out the door. Just turn around now. You're not welcome anymore. Weren't you the one to try to hurt me with goodbye? Did you think I'd crumble? You think I'd lay down and die? Oh no, not I. I will survive. As long as I know how to love, I know I'm still alive. And I've got all my love to give. I've got so much life to live. I will survive. I will survive. Hey.
Thank you so much, Ms. Brown, for gracing us with that angelic voice. Truly an inspiration to survive. Next, we want to segment into another video from our President's Corner. The next voice you will hear is the Honorable Judge Vernetta Perkins, followed by Gloria Smith.
Gloria F. Smith, second president of the Selma, Alabama chapter of the Links Incorporated. Put your heart into getting active. Heart disease is the #1 killer of American women, and physical inactivity is one of several major risk factors. Choose activities that suit your style and aim for a goal. Get at least 150 minutes of moderate aerobic activity, about 30 minutes average for most days, or 75 minutes of vigorous aerobic activity a week, or a combination of moderate and vigorous activity. The guidelines suggest that you spread out the exercise during the course of a week.
Thank you for those segments. That was some very insightful information shared. Next, we'll be joined by our next guest, Ms. Carrie DeAmber Grinder. Ms. Grinder? My apologies. We're going to be graced again by Ms. Stephanie Brown with another inspirational song this evening.
I'm walking, yeah. I'm gonna keep on moving, yeah. Some people say walking takes too long, but I say with walking you can't go wrong. Why should you rush right on through life? You won't get very far running all the time. No. When you see me, I'm walking, yeah. I'm walking. Oh, I'm moving, yeah. Hey, I rock with the greatest. You the rest of it. Hey, I put one foot in front of the other, yeah. And I'm walking on, yeah. I'm walking on, yeah. I keep on moving, yeah. 'Cause I know that Jesus walks with me, yeah. I'm walking on, yeah, yeah. Just keep on moving. Whatever you do, just keep on moving. Yeah. Keep on moving. Keep on moving. Yeah, yeah. I'm walking.
I spend all day in court and barely get a break for lunch sometimes. I know I should be eating healthy, but a Whopper with cheese sounds so good right now. What am I going to do?
My name is Wanda Maxwell, and I'm the third president of the Selma, Alabama chapter of the Links Incorporated. I'm here to tell you to put your heart into healthy eating. Risk factors such as high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, and being overweight all increase your personal risk of developing heart disease. A healthy diet can lower or control these risk factors. Try eating more fruits and vegetables, whole grains, less saturated fats, and less foods with high salt content. Read food labels for serving sizes. Drink more water and less high-calorie drinks. 1 can of soda has 10 teaspoons of sugar. Put your heart into healthy eating because every heartbeat is life. For more information, visit selmalinks.org. Thank you.
Thank you so much for those great segments. Welcome back to the Emerald Lounge, where every heartbeat matters. Next, I would like to introduce our next guest, Ms. Carrie D'Anford Grinder, who serves as the Vice President, Director, and Educator of SLIP, Something Better Lifestyle. Something Better Lifestyle Improvement Project, aka SLIP. It was founded in 2006, which is a charitable organization, a 501c3, here in Selma, Alabama, that is dedicated to providing tools, education, encouragement, and empowerment to people on how to take control of improving their lifestyle overall by making healthier food choices and showing them how to prepare healthier meal selections. Through this organization, the goal is to improve the health impacts, quality of life, mental, physical, social, and spiritual aspects of life in general. Ms. Ryder has her BS and master's degree in home economics education, where she obtained it at Tuskegee University. Her master's degree is in speech communication, received at the University of Montevallo. Ms. Ryder is an educator in the cooperative extension systems, college, and public school systems, has been for over 20 years. Community theater, educational in-service presenter, youth day speaker, health ministry leader over the past 4 years. Help me welcome Ms. Ryder to the Emerald Lounge. Thank you.
Thank you so much for inviting me and introducing me. Thank you for inviting me.
Well, Ms. Ryder, we know that you're here tonight to help us change our relationship with food. We want to have a better relationship.
Yes.
Most people in this country want to do better. I know I want to do better. Help me, help me, help me.
Well, you've come to the right place. We've had such good information tonight, and we kept hearing about lifestyle change. And interestingly enough, that is part of our name, Something Better Lifestyle Improvement Project. And we want to give you something better. We've been hearing about how the diet needs to change. And so that's what we want to focus on tonight. How can one make those changes? What are some things that they can do? But before we get into that, I would like to just share with you something that we consider very important in making a lifestyle change. It is called 8 Secrets of the World's Healthiest People. And there's an acronym that says New Start.
Oh, yes.
New Start. And though each of those letters stands for something very important. The N stands for nutrition. And we've been hearing about that. Nutrition. So we're going to look at some good nutrition tonight. Exercise. We've been hearing about that.
Oh, Lord.
You can do it. You can do it.
I know it. I know
15
it.
minutes
It's
a
a
day.
new start.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, it's a new start. 15 minutes a day for a start. Okay, water. We need to drink more water.
Yes.
At least 6 to 8 ounces of 6 to 8 ounce glasses of water a day. Now, if that's too much to count, if you can't keep up with that, check your urine. If your urine is clear, then you are getting the amount of water that you need. Sunshine is so important. That's the next one. We get vitamin D from sunshine, and sunshine also makes us feel good. It gives us those good feeling hormones, makes us feel good. So we need to get that. People of color need a little bit more sunshine than people who are fairer than we are. We have melanin in our skin, and so that filters out some of the sun. So we have to be out there a little bit longer. And the best time to get that sunshine is between 11 and 1 o'clock. Okay, the next thing is temperance. Now that's a word for self-control, showing some self-control, because even though I'm going to show you some things that are healthy today, we still have to practice self-control. We can't, just because it's healthy, we can't go overboard with it, because that can be damaging too. Fresh air. I heard our moderator here say we need to get out and walk outside. You get the fresh air and the sunshine all at the same time, plus exercise. Rest is very important. We do not get enough rest.
Amen, sister.
Yes, we need to get at least 8 hours of rest, 7 to 8 hours. And it's best to go to bed before 12 o'clock. 10 o'clock is really the cutoff point. If you can get in bed by 9:30, that's good. I know that's a challenge, but you can train yourself. We can do what we need to do if we say we really want to do it. Okay? So try to be in bed by 10 o'clock. Turn off the TV. Take your telephone out of your bedroom, because that light is going to be blinking and buzzing, and you're going to be picking it up, looking at it all night long. You're not getting any rest. So leave it in another room. All right? Okay. And then trusting God. I really would like to put that first because we can't do anything by ourselves.
Amen.
We need the help of the Almighty, and He will help us. Now, we call this 8 secrets of the world's healthiest people, but Slip has added some extra things. We call it New Start Plus more. Okay, forgiveness is one of the things we talk about. When we have unforgiveness in our hearts, it's like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. And that's just not going to happen. Unforgiveness is killing yourself. So let's be unforgiving. Let's be forgiving, because it can make you sick. Unforgiveness can cause the blood pressure to rise. It can cause stress that we've been hearing about. So
Stress in meetings.
yes,
Mhm.
yes.
Need to not have stress in meetings.
That's right. So you're going to have to forgive some of those folks in there rather than trying to convince them. Forgive them.
And move on.
Yes, that's it. The next one is laughter. Proverbs 15:13 says, a happy heart makes a cheerful face, but a sad heart crushes the spirit. So when we laugh and have a cheerful spirit, it also gives us happy hormones, which makes us feel better. Then there's kindness. Be kind to people, be kind to pets, or animals, and be kind to yourself. Sometimes we're just not kind to ourselves. We stay up too late. We eat the wrong things. We don't exercise. We're not being
Ice
kind.
cream Snicker bars.
Well, now that can be a treat. That can be a treat after you get on track. You don't have to take out everything that you like in your diet.
Really? Okay.
Really.
Thank you.
Because what fun would eating be?
I know what fun would life be.
Yes.
Because we want something better, though.
Yes. And that's what
So
we
we
want to
can
do.
have a long life.
Yes. Yeah. And a healthy one at that. And a happy one. Yes. Yes. Okay. Attitude of gratitude. Be thankful. Have a thankful heart. Instead of looking at the glass as half empty, look at that glass as half full. Be grateful. Then educate yourself on health and wellness and fitness, and especially about your own condition, as our guest did. She studied what was going on with her, and she found out information. I just saw her looking at some charts, some diagrams of the heart when we were sitting down over there. She had her phone out and she was looking at her heart. So educate yourself. Also, work. Do something that is productive. Garden. It should be enjoyable too, not just drudgery, but keep busy. Have a hobby. Volunteer. So these things will lead to a healthy and a better life. It will lead to a new start. Okay, now, the first thing that people think about when we talk about a new start and we talk about our diet, there are some things that we really have to minimize and eventually eliminate from our diets. And most people don't want to do that. And that is meat and dairy. And yes, fish is a meat. Okay. So you can't say, well, I don't eat meat, I eat fish.
No, wait a minute. Did I hear you say, did you say eliminate? You meant just moderate.
In the beginning. In the beginning.
But I have found that I used to drink a lot of sodas. Shame on me. I know, because one can of soda has about 8 teaspoons of sugar. And then so I cut that out, and then I started drinking diet sodas, which is just as bad because that messes with your brain. But then when I started going to just one a day, and then some days I didn't drink any, I found that I didn't need them. So I don't need them. Hallelujah! Enjoy. You have to have small little successes.
Exactly. And celebrate when you have those successes. So the first thing people want to know about, before I get into the food, I just want to share this. This doctor, Baxter Montgomery, is a cardiologist, and he is in Texas. This doctor has a prescription of FOOD. He has started writing prescriptions in nutrition for his patients. Not only is he subscribing a healthy diet for them, he has a boot camp where they can come and learn what these foods are and how to prepare these foods. Okay, so Google him, look at some of his videos, and see some of the people that he has helped. To the side, if you don't mind. Now, when you think about reducing the meat and the dairy, the first thing people want to know is, well, where am I going to get my protein? Because everybody thinks meat is the only way you can get protein. Nada. Yes. Nada. Vegetables have protein. I have a whole list here of vegan protein. They're vegetables, fruits, legumes. I'm trying to read through this. Nuts and seeds, tofu, non-dairy milk, and grains. And I have some examples of those things here. When we talk about the legumes, lentils, and later on when we get to the tasting, I've made a lentil burger. Okay.
Oh, yum.
Yes. Also, chickpeas, also known as garbanzo beans. And we will be tasting chickpea tuna. Okay. And I have over here some brown rice and some whole wheat bread. So there are many things. Oh, and your beans. Don't forget your beans. I heard Miss Thrash, thank you, say that she's not buying anything in a can. I don't blame you. I'm looking for the one. Okay. If you are buying something in the can, this one says no salt added. Okay. Sometimes people just want to buy in the cans. Frozen food is a good choice.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And your dried beans and peas. That's excellent. They take a little time, but you can put them in the crock pot. Here's some pinto beans. No salt added. And while we're talking about salt, check your sodium. It should be 5% or less. What is the percentage on this?
1%.
1%. Okay, let's look at this one.
You know, people don't realize that it's not so much the salt shaker, it's the processed food that you eat. It's the bologna sandwiches.
Yes.
The ham sandwiches.
Yes.
I mean, it's the processed food that has a lot of salt. And the pizza that we eat every night.
And cheese.
And cheese.
Cheese.
Not every night, but just like maybe once a week.
And cheese is high in sodium. Yes. But I have a remedy for that. What is the sodium content in this one?
5%.
5%. And this is light red kidney beans. So just be sure to check your sodium
And so
content.
what's your recommendation on cans if it's 5% or less?
5% or less. So check your sodium. Okay, I need to move.
Now, how you gonna make it taste good?
Okay, good question.
Let's get to that.
Yes. Let me share with you some recipe books here. And I would recommend that you do start getting some okay, thank you. Start getting some of these books because these three I do recommend, especially this one, Something Better. Give them something better. And it has delicious recipes in it. I have this book and I have just tried so many of the recipes in here. And in here, there is a section that shows you how to make your own spices and seasonings. You can make scrambled tofu seasoning mix, make breading mix, make taco seasoning mix, make country style seasoning, chicken style seasoning. So vegetarian food or vegan food does not have to be bland. It can be very tasty. This particular recipe book has ice cream, a recipe for ice cream in it, and it's non-dairy. Okay, So I would recommend that you do that. Later on, you can come up and take a look at some of these things. When I talked about getting off dairy instead of butter, try Earth's Balance. Yes, ma'am. Okay, I'm running out of time. Cheese that's non-dairy. Winn-Dixie. And listen, because I have to move on to the tasting, you can get all of this information from me by calling me at 334-872-6984, 334-872-6984, or emailing somethingbetter06@outlook.com. Okay, so now we're going to get to the food. I have made an unsausage. You know how you like to have a sausage with your breakfast? Well, I have made an unsausage, and the unsausage recipe is in this book. And this is what the unsausage looks like. Okay, can you get a good look at that? That's the unsausage. And so how did I get it to look like that? I used, where's my little doohickey? Oh, never mind. I'll do that later, another time. Also, I made a lentil burger. The lentil burger made with lentils. It smells good, doesn't it? Yes, we're going to taste it. I have it for you to taste. And I should uncover this so
Just taste it after the program.
Yeah, Dr. Patricia's going to taste now. Dr. Patricia, that's the sausage right there.
So taste the sausage.
I want you to tell them and the audience how it tastes.
Okay.
Okay. And this is at room temperature. So just think how it tastes when it's
hot. Great.
Yes. And that's the lentil burger right there.
Let me taste it too.
I do. Oh, and look, put some of this on your lentil burger.
Okay, what's that?
This is the avocado sauce.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so put some of that on your lentil burger.
Okay. Well, I love avocados.
And avocado and olives, they're the good fats. So as I was saying, getting off of the dairy, this is chickpea salad.
That's good.
And is it good?
It's delicious.
Great.
I love avocado.
Come on.
You want me to get some more?
Okay. I want you to, this is the, and there's some chips there.
Okay, well, you know, my brother said I hadn't turned down a meal. Might as well taste it.
The chickpea salad.
Oh, I love this. I love this. I don't need any chips.
Oh, okay. The chickpea salad is in this recipe, in this book, and this is a little magazine that is called African American Vegan Starter Guide. And as I said, you can get this by calling me 334-872-6984 or emailing somethingbetter06@outlook.com. Okay, so is that, the avocado toast. Well, I didn't get that made up, and I'm out of time. So if you all will stay after the program, you will get a chance to taste this and also to have a look at some of the foods. But let me just recommend this. In your lifestyle change, go to a Whole Foods, and that's eating the foods like they come out of the ground. Whole Foods, plant-based diet, and whole grain. You see the whole grain bread up here. I want you to get that. And whole grain pastas. Get you some wild rice, and brown rice. You say I can't cook brown rice. Yes, you can. Get your little cheap rice cooker, and it'll do it for you.
But quickly, what's the Super Bowl is coming on Sunday. I'm not going to watch it. I'm boycotting the Super Bowl. But for the people who are watching it, what's something good that they can?
I'm glad you asked.
Well, I'm glad I did too. For somebody who's not watching, go ahead.
Okay, here are some different types of chips that you can enjoy if you will hold that one up. And The sodium content on this one is 3%.
Wow.
Okay, 3%.
This was 2.
And she says this one is 2%. So get you some healthy chips. And these will also give you some fiber. Look for the fiber content. We need the fiber.
Will you taste it?
Yes, please taste it. The chickpea salad.
Oh my God. What have I been missing?
The chickpea tuna salad. That's a good thing to have. Make some cauliflower buffalo wings.
Oh wow.
Instead of chicken wings, she's going, really? Cauliflower buffalo wings? I have the recipe for that. The lentil sliders, or you can make some lentil burgers. Okay, hummus. Get you some hummus. Check the sodium content on the hummus. Okay, so those are some ideas.
Okay, and as Ms. Ryder said, you can find her and we'll have a slide up. You can find her at somethingbetter06@outlook.com. And please refer to the slide. And we have a question from the audience.
Oh, yes.
I'm curious, could be a vegan someday.
Mm-hmm.
Question, for those of us that perhaps are not skilled in cooking, is there a fast food-ish version of plant-based diet that would require culinary expertise?
That's a good question. I do have a DVD that's called, I think it's called Vegetarian Fast Food. And it's mostly rice and some vegetables. Okay? And then there's something called Bowls, BOWLS. If you are computer savvy, just put in vegan recipes. In it, just about anything that you want can be found as a vegan. This little book right here has all kinds of stuff in it. It has a delicious chocolate cake in it, you know. So some of these books that I have up here, you can get from me. Others you may have to find on your own. There is a cost, you know, for them. They're not free. So
Nothing worthwhile is.
Yes. But yes.
Except walking.
Yes, that's free. But yes, ma'am, it's easy. There's some things you can do that's not so hard to do. So just give me a call.
Well, thank you so much for being here tonight. And before we turn it back over to our moderator, Ms. Smith, we will have a message from the President's Corner, Mrs. Pinky Platt, and Know Your Numbers.
My name is Pinky H. Platt. It was my pleasure to serve as the 5th president of the Selma, Alabama chapter of the Links Incorporated. Know your numbers: blood pressure, cholesterol, blood sugar, and conference, and body mass index, BMI. If you have elevated levels of these measures, your doctor will want to work with you to lower these numbers to reduce your cardiovascular risk. Your suggested goals may be blood pressure 120/80, no higher than 140/90, total cholesterol less than 200, blood glucose no higher than 105 fasting value, BMI 25 or less for men and women, waist circumference less than 35 for women and less than 40 for men. Simply put, it is your body, your heart, and your control over both.
Hi, my name is Malika Sanders Fortier, and I am a member of the Alabama State Senate here in District 23. Since 2018, I have been fighting passionately for health care.
Where every heartbeat matters. As we wrap up, we have just a few more additions. We're going to come back and join that conversation with Dr. O. If you would, share with us about those 3 stepsisters, I'll call them. Hypertension, high cholesterol, and
diabetes.
Tell me more about those gals.
For anyone that has been my patient, you've probably heard me say this story because it's a story I tell all my patients when I'm trying to explain the relationship between these risk factors for heart disease. So here goes the story. There are 3 sisters. One is called high blood pressure. The other is called high blood sugar. And the third is called high blood cholesterol. Now, all these 3 sisters, they go everywhere together. They're inseparable, which means that when you see one sister, you're bound to see the other 2. And when you see 2 sisters, better look around the corner. The third one's going to be there. What that means is when you have hypertension, which is high blood pressure, you got to be careful because you're at an increased risk of getting high blood sugar and high blood cholesterol. And if you have 2 of them, which is high blood pressure and high blood sugar, then you'll most likely be having or probably already have high blood cholesterol. So that's why we call them the 3 sisters. And, there's some medical names for it, metabolic syndrome and things like that. But when you remember the 3 sisters, which is why when you're diagnosed with one problem, whether diabetes, whether hypertension, whether high cholesterol, we almost always treat you just to prevent the others from coming up as well, just because we know these 3 sisters go everywhere together. Now, it's not just the 3 sisters. There is Uncle Joe.
Oh.
Now, Uncle Joe is obesity. Uncle Joe is that uncle that's always around. And when he comes to visit, you just can't get rid of him. And Uncle Joe has a way of making you feel comfortable with him in the house. So you just can't get rid of Uncle Joe, which is the problem we face with obesity. We don't realize when he's moving in. We don't know. It just creeps up. We just like, Uncle Joe been here 1 week, 2. Uncle Joe been living with us for a year now. So it's time for you to go. So you can't, so obesity is something we have to guard against. Once they're overstaying, they're welcome. It's time to go, which means it's time for you to move. And then there's Cousin Merlin. Oh, wow. Cousin Merlin is smoking. He that guest that comes to visit that just never lives. And Cousin Merlin has all the habits attached to it, which means when you start smoking cigarettes, you're at an increased risk of smoking every other thing. Marijuana, cocaine, all kinds of drugs. So we try to say, don't even let Cousin Merlin come visit, because Cousin Merlin will promise to show you the good life. And you just can't get rid of Cousin Merlin as well, just like Uncle Joe. So the 3 sisters, which is hypertension, diabetes, and high cholesterol, increases your risk of a heart attack or a stroke. And if you have Uncle Joe, which is obesity, that further increases that risk. And Cousin Merlin, oh boy, which is smoking, doubles the risk. So let's try this is the only time it's good to separate these family members, which just means using your medications to control each of these conditions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. O. We appreciate that educational moment. As we wrap up, I would just like to thank all of our guests, Ms. Thrash, Dr. O, Ms. Grinder. We appreciate you all for all of the great knowledge that you've shared tonight. I hope that you that's tuning in, those in the audience, you have great takeaways from tonight to add to your life and your family members and friends. Again, thank you for joining us at the Emerald Lounge, where every heartbeat matters. And now we're going to let Ms. Stephanie Brown take us away. Thanks for joining.
Remember those walls I built? Well, baby, they are tumbling down. They didn't even put up a fight. They didn't even make a sound. I found a way to let you in, but I never really had a doubt. Standing in the light of your halo, I got my angel now. It's like I've been awakened. Every rule I had to break it. It's the risk that I'm taking. I ain't never gonna shut you out. Everywhere I'm looking now, I'm surrounded by your embrace. Baby, I can see your halo. Baby, I can see your halo. 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 Halo.
As we end, again, we want to thank you all for joining this evening, and we want to encourage everyone to look at the information on the screen and make sure you complete that survey. Give us some feedback. Also, test your knowledge from tonight's information and make sure that you are taking some key information home with you and also sharing it. Thank you again. Enjoy the rest of your evening.